Welcome back, my fellow collectors. I'm Calvin, aka Statue Fanatic, and today we're going to take a look at another half-scale bust. I'm going to put that half-scale in quotes. If you guys saw my last video, you know why I did that. Thanks again to the awesome people over at Diamond Select for sending this sample over here for me to take a look at. This is Diamond Select Legends in 3D bust of Captain America. As you guys already know, I've gotten a number of the busts so far that I absolutely loved, every last one of them that I've gotten so far, and I'm excited to open this one up. And I'm actually thinking I have a couple of friends that are really huge Captain America fans. Seth, Captain Puerto Rico. I don't know, you guys might like this, so this might be coming your way. But anyway, what we're gonna do is take a look at the box. As usual, got very cool. I was gonna say beautiful, but I guess it's Captain America, so I guess you could say a very handsome portrait of Captain America on the box here. And then as you look around, the same, just like all of the other Legends in 3D boxes, it has this really shiny that attracts a bazillion fingerprints, and each of them, like all the others, are limited to 1,000 pieces, and this happens to be 288 of 1,000. And I have probably said this name quite a bit, but the design of this piece is by Joe Allard and sculpted by, I'm sure, his good friend, Rocco Tartamella. So yes, Rocco has sculpted, I think, pretty much the majority of the Legends in 3D busts figures that I've gotten so far, as well as a lot of the PVC dioramas. And this is a 14+ age collectible. This is not a toy. You guys get why I do that. So let's get this out of the box, all right? And here you have it, Captain America out of the box. And here I have, just like in all of the half-scale resin busts that Diamond Select has produced, this is a certificate of authenticity. And it has the sculptor and designer on here again, Joe Allard and Rocco Tartamella, and 288 of 1,000. So what we're gonna do here is do a once around, like I always do, so you can get a really good look at what this figure looks like. As I turn it around, you probably are able to see some of the really cool features and detail in this statue. Now, just like all the other Legends in 3D busts that Diamond Select has produced, this one here has a very cool, unique base. You can see this column that looks like concrete, and here you have stars that align around the bottom of it. Very patriotic type motif to this. Definitely complements Captain America. And as we look at the figure itself, we'll take a look at the sculpting that's around it. You see the outfit here, he has all of this. It's kind of the classic Captain America here with all of the sculpting and raised items that are around his outfit here. I have lost for words because I can't think of what to call this armor. I think like in medieval, it would be something like mail chain or something like that. But you can see it looks pretty cool. Lots of sculpting and detail there. And the same thing when you go up to his portrait and his head. I'm actually really impressed with the sculpting here of the mask that he is wearing. You can see the stitching that goes around here, lots of detail there, even some wrinkling in his neck from where his head is turned at an angle. I'm really digging in it a lot. And then as you look at the star that's sculpted on his chest, that looks really awesome as well. And you can see the two wing emblems that are sculpted on the sides of his head. That is pretty awesome too. Let's talk a little bit about the paint application on this guy. The blue looks great. Lots and lots of shading in this outfit. Definitely giving it a very non-flat look, if you will. I mean, it looks really cool. Lots of dimension to it. As you look at it, it catches the light really well as you turn it around, so you can see the dimension and the depth in the statue. Now, when it comes to his ears and his facial features, all of that looks, it looks really good. Check out his ears. You can see sculpted really nicely there. Both ears, very nice sculpt. And then here, the facial feature, you see some very hint of a frown line around his face there. You can even see some sculpted stubble, like 5 o'clock shadow there. That looks good. And then you can see the sculpting of the mask around his eyes. Now, and his eyes, I'm really impressed with the way that they are sculpted. They have a glassy look to them and painted in such a way that gives it this deep blue presence. I really like that a lot as well. The skin tone looks really good. It may be different looking at it in the white box, but I'm gonna try to make sure that I white balance adjust this so you can get a clearer idea of what the skin tone of it looks like. Now, speaking of skin tone, that brings us to the paint application, starting with the base. Very, very happy with it. Painted really nicely, lots of shading and detail. Even the sculpting in the base, the way that it's painted, you can, the paint application kind of highlights the sculpt and the detail from the shading that you see. And the same thing around his outfit here. Various shades of blue and blacks that are shaded and painted inside of that. And the same thing for his mask. Various shading on here in the dark crevices of the mask. You can see where it's much darker, and then the lighter blue that's all over it. And his face, again, the painting on his face is really nicely. You can see the hint and the highlights of the 5 o'clock shadow from his beard. That's the stubble that's starting to grow out. You can see that as well. And his eyes also painted very nicely. The white part of his eyes and the blue part of his eyes, it seems to be done really well. There's just no overspill. There is, however, on the A that's sculpted on the white A that's sculpted on the front of his face and the two wings on the side, the blue that's inside of the lines here, you can see where it comes out a little bit onto the white, and the same thing on the other side that happens. And the same thing with the A. Not only that, with the A, you can actually see where the A is painted on top of the blue, I'm assuming, because you can see some of the blue bleeding into the A. Now, as you look at the close-ups of this, you can see where that was really a big nitpick, because you really can barely tell that being the case. In his ear, a speck of blue paint inside of his earlobe there, inside of the inner ear, and the same thing over here. I did notice, however, on his nose, there is this where the paint has been scraped off. I did like that. I think that could have happened after the fact, maybe from handling it. And then right around his lip, there's this black mark there. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Even if this was a really expensive statue, that even wouldn't bother me even in that sense, because it's very, very minor. And just being a collector, collecting all of these things like this, as far as action figures and statues and things like that, there is no way you're gonna get things that are perfect all the time. In fact, most of the time, they probably won't be perfect. I continue to be very, very impressed with the quality of work that's put into these, the sculpt, the design, the detail of all of these Legends in 3D scale busts. Very, very happy with them. And again, I guess I'm still sticking with what I said before. These are really, really nice pieces. I think this is more of a third scale piece than a half scale piece. I actually have a half scale bust that I'm gonna compare. The next time I do one of these, I'm gonna compare that bust to this and show you what I think a half scale bust should look like. I think these are great sizes there, and I'm not complaining about that. I just think they may be mischaracterized. If they are not, I would love to know the scale that's being used to determine that this is a half scale. Other than that, that's about all I have with this piece. Captain America Legends in 3D, the bust line from Diamond Select. Remember, always collect what you like and not the hype, and your collecting journeys will bring you so, so much joy. Until next time, my friends, peace.